Well, in today's video, I'm going to discuss living a balanced life. I'm going to go over 3 parts to this video: why we experience constant stress, what that stress actually does to our bodies, and then I'll share some strategies that have worked for me over the years. If this is your first time watching, my name is Danny Sunshine Bauer, and I do a lot of work predominantly with school leaders and small business owners and podcasters as well. Even if you don't lead an organization or consider yourself an executive, this content is definitely going to benefit you today. If you are a leader, then you're really going to benefit from today's video, because the foundation of what I'm going to share today is presenting that you can't lead at your best unless you're living at your best, right? So again, just to repeat that, you cannot lead and have the type of impact that you want to have within your organization unless you live it at your best. So to jump into the content, the thing is, we in 2018 are constantly plugged in, right? The Center for Creative Leadership did a survey of 500 smartphone-enabled executives, and they found that the average executive is always plugged into work, 72 hours on average. And this is crazy because being constantly on, not having a lot of time for ourselves, puts us in what we call a chronic flight and fight response. Now you're probably thinking, chronic fight and flight, that sounds terrible. And it is. And if you're wondering that right now, you are absolutely right. I'm going to share 4 ideas that work for me and how to get out of that chronic fight or flight response in just a second. But most of us don't live on the savannah anymore, and we're not dodging any of these to make sure that we survive. Right? It's all about survival. Back in the day, that's what fight and flight was about. You saw that lion on the savannah, you had to run away or you had to fight it, but you wanted to survive. That was what was at the basis of everything we did. Now today we have these triggers like emails and deadlines. Other triggers might just be your crappy boss that shows up, right? And they put us in this fight or flight response, and the constant being connected to work puts us there as well. But we don't have to have our system revved up in that type of way to have to focus on that kind of survival, right? This is why we are always stressed, because that chronic fight or flight. The other major problem is that this has big time impacts in our health, okay? And you think of our mental, our relational, our spiritual, our physical health. When we're in a chronic fight or flight response, bad things happen. Ulcers, heart attacks, you have more risks for cancer, even premature aging. Think of every president ever, right? When they step into office and when they leave 4 years later, they look like a different person. That's that constant stress at work. So it's an uphill battle, right? It's an uphill battle to try to produce quality work within our organizations, or to connect and be present and love our spouses and our kids fully when we're in this chronic fight or flight response. And if you look on Google, check out this search trend. I think it's from 2004, but if you see there, it's constantly up. People are impacted in a big way in terms of how to achieve work-life balance. Is this even something that we can do? So what do we do about it? We have to become more aware of what's going on externally and internally all around us. We need daily routines and rituals that will help recharge, renew our batteries, right? And that will give us what I would call harmony or rhythm within our lives. The idea of balance is an illusion. It's a problem. It's not correct. If you have all this stress that is happening at work, if you add more things that you do enjoy doing over here, it doesn't actually balance out. What you need to think about is rhythm and harmony. Think about every band you loved ever. For me, it was the Beatles. And the thing about them, they all had different instruments that they played. They all sang a different part within the song, and when they brought that all together, they created something special. So that's why I like to substitute the idea of rhythm or harmony for balance. So right here, what I want to share is what works for me. Part of my coaching that I do, and I have a session called Living and Leading at Your Best, I investigate 3 big ideas. So number 1, I want you to consider right now, who are you when you show up at your best, right? How would you describe that? Number 2, what routines or rituals would help get you there in terms of physical, relational, mental, and spiritual? What do you need to do to show up at your best? And finally, when you do those things, when you engage in those routines and you show up at your best, what outcomes can you expect? So that's a lot to cover for sure, but what I want to discuss really quick is what are the routines and rituals that work for me. So in terms of physical, when I participate in CrossFit, let's say, or if I go out on walks, those type of physical activities help clear my mind. They put me in a better mood. I love riding my bike. Right now, recording this, I'm actually in Florida, but I'm living in Belgium, hopefully moving back to America. That's a long story right there in of itself, but I love riding my bike. In terms of mental, right? Things like reading and meditation definitely recharge my battery. Spiritual, I love to pray. That puts me in a good place. And then relationally, I talked about long walks with my wife, so I love doing that and just talking about life and, our goals and our relationship and that kind of thing. All of that renews my energy. So I want to close with this. I've helped over 100 people in this Live and Lead at Your Best session that I do. It's a coaching session. And I used to do it in a group coaching format. I've done it in one-on-one. Like I said, helped over 100 people. So in order to reach more people, I've created a video that outlined a 4-part system for achieving more harmony within your life. And if you'd like to get more info, go to betterleadersbetterschools.com/live at your best. And you can invest in a 36-minute video that goes deep into some of the stuff I covered here and a lot that I didn't have time to discuss. And you can take it on your own time and then execute on the system, a 4-part system to produce a more harmonious life starting today if you want. The session covers these things. Why most leaders feel stressed out and out of balance. This is absolutely normal to feel, but you don't have to stay there. You can do something about it. The very real health risks if you stay in a chronic fight or flight response. And believe me, this is you, and I'll show you the science behind it. How not addressing your balance problem negatively impacts the organizations that you lead, or even if you don't consider yourself a leader or you're not a leader within your organization, how that impacts your life with family and friends. I'll show you the difference between an unhealthy personal presence and a healthy personal presence and how to make that transition and stay there. We'll talk about why balance is actually not achievable, but leaders should relentlessly pursue what I said earlier in the video, harmony or rhythm. How to map your weather system in a 3-part process that ensures you show up every day with the right kind of energy that you want to be your best at work and at home. How to improve your performance by eliminating and dealing with the interference that's triggering you and getting you out of your whack. If you do this, you will reach your potential and absolutely improve your performance. And finally, you'll get 6 tips to ensure that you create a habit of living and leading at your best. I hope you do invest in that system. And again, that's betterleadersbetterschools.com/live at your best. But even if you don't, today's coaching tip is this. Think about the routines and rituals that will absolutely help you renew or recharge your battery. Remember, I talked about physical, relational, mental, and spiritual. What are those routines and rituals that you can do that will recharge you and help you be at your best and produce the best outcomes? Most of us approach our calendars in the wrong way. We think about all the priorities that we have within work and the priorities that maybe our supervisors or colleagues have for us. Those things come in through email, right? Then with the time that's left over, we schedule those things that we really treasure and find important to us. This is wrong. I want you today to think about those routines and then get them on the calendar first. Thanks for watching this video on living a balanced life, and I hope you got a bunch of value from it. If you did, you can help me out in 4 ways. You could give me a thumbs up and like this video. You can click subscribe. I'm starting to build this YouTube channel, and I don't want you to miss out on any of the great content. Share this on social media, and finally, leave a comment below. What activity recharges your battery the most? That's the question I want you to answer in the comments. If I can help you out in any way, you can reach me at daniel@betterleadersbetterschools.com or check out my coaching session on living and leading at your best, betterleadersbetterschools.com/live at your best. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.